Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I have some Halloween DIYs that are not black. I have chosen green for mine, but you could switch them out for whatever colour goes with your home decor. I got this frame from the Dollar Tree Plus section. It was $3 and I am just moving the tabs on the back so I can take the inside out. I'm using some green paint that I had at home, and a similar colour is probably Waverly's celery, but you can use whichever colour you like. You don't even have to do this colour. So I gave it a few coats of this. Chalk paint would have covered this a lot easier, but I didn't have any in that colour. And then this wallpaper is from Dollar Tree, so I'm just going to trace around it, then I'm going to cut it out with some scissors and stick it to this part of the sign. So you could use any of the Dollar Tree wallpapers for this, or some scrapbook paper, just whatever is going to fit your decor in your house. I was checking if the snake would be seen through it, and it wasn't visible, so I just went ahead and stuck it down and I didn't have to paint it. This DIY I would keep up in my house all year round. This skull is from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to take some scissors and cut along this line and try and make a straight edge all the way around, because I'm going to be sticking it to the frame. And it cut, the corner bits were a bit harder to cut, and I did have bigger scissors but I can't find them. They've all went missing out my craft room, so maybe bigger scissors might be better. I'm just marking off the line that I want to cut it on. I hope Dollar Tree starts putting out some nicer looking skulls than this one, but it works for the DIY. I'm going to paint it with some Waverly chalk paint in the colour Plaster. And I was going to leave the eyes this colour, so you don't see me painting them, but then I decided just to paint them, and I also gave it 2 coats of this paint. And you don't have to make the skull white, you can make it any colour you like. I just chose white because it goes with the DIY that I'm making. But next year I'm going to do some other colours and show you other things you can do that are not black. I will be making some more Halloween videos with black DIYs, because black is my favourite, but green is my second favourite, so that's why I wanted to make these. When I saw that frame, I knew that it would look really, really nice with that wallpaper. And I watered down a tiny bit of Waverly's moss chalk paint, and I'm just putting it in the eyes and all the cracks and the teeth, and then just wiping it away with a dry paper towel. I just filled in all the wee bits. So I just keep doing that until I'm satisfied with how it looks. I don't know if you can hear Romy in the background screaming. She's not crying, she's just making noise. She was in here with me in her walker, but she was just being too noisy, so I had to put her out. And just taking the plaster paint again, and then just lightly brushing over all the green that I did, because some of it went over the lines and some of it was a bit dark, so I'm just toning it down. And then I'm doing it over the mouth part, so it just looks more like shadow. So I'm using some Waverly White wax for this next part. So I haven't used this stuff before. I've had it for years and then never got around to using it. So I'm just brushing it on and making sure it gets in all the wee nooks and crannies. And then I'm going to wipe it off. And I'm just doing a section at a time because it says you're supposed to wipe it off immediately. And then I just do that around the whole frame. There was some wee hairs kept coming off that brush. It was annoying. But I'm definitely going to use this wax more often because I really like how it looks. And I will finish this off camera. I'm just going to put all my pieces back together now. So I really like how these tabs had a wee screw for the screwdriver, so you could really tighten it. And then I've got 2 tower blocks. I'm going to hot glue them on the inside of the skull so that I can glue it to the frame. And I think that frame looks so beautiful just like that. You could just use that for a DIY. You don't have to put a skull on it. You could put something else on it. And this can be a standing frame or you can hang it on the wall. And if you want to hang it up, you can see that the stand part, you can see at the bottom. So you have to take that off. And I just love how this turned out. I love the frame and using the wax on it. And that wallpaper from Dollar Tree is just so pretty. I have this wee tag from Dollar Tree, so I'm going to use some of that scrapbook paper I had left over. I'm using this scrapbook paper for, not scrapbook paper, wallpaper. It even says wallpaper right there. So I'm using this for most of the DIYs in this video. And I just cut out a piece so that I can stick it to the front of this. And then I'm just cut it so I could put it behind that piece of twine. And then I have these wee skeletons. I'm just taking the head off and the arms. I was just playing around. So I'm just using my hot knife to cut through the skull because I want it to be flat on the back and lay on the tag. And then I'm just using a nail file, or if you have some sandpaper, just to sand off any rough edges. And then I'm going to paint the parts with some plaster chalk paint. And I use the plaster chalk paint and, well, I'd use all the same paints throughout the video. If I don't show it, that's what ones I'm using. And I gave it 2 coats of this. This DIY would be perfect for a tier tray or a tray. You could always switch out the skeleton for something else. But I would keep the skeleton out all year round. I just love stuff like that. And I'm just using the moss again and just highlighting the skull and the bones. And my voice is going a bit funny. I don't know, my throat is not sore today. I woke up like that, so sorry about that. And then I'm using this ribbon from Dollar Tree, but I just want this part of it that I'm cutting off. So I just cut enough to go around the inside of this. I'm just going to hot glue it down. And then I just snip the corners just to make it fit. And just join it up. And then you can't even really notice. So I'm just going to keep going round with this. Well, I did one side and then I did the other side and then I joined up the bottom. So I'm also going to use hot glue to glue down the wee skeleton parts, and I want it to have a wee skull and crossbones, but I've got the hands on it too. So just a wee bit of hot glue, and then this one part of it at the bottom there didn't want to stick down, but that's okay. I was trying to get to stick, but it did pop up. And then I decided to burn off the wee hairs. And then I decided to, I forgot I was burning the hairs. So I just dry brushed some of this paint on that I used in the previous DIY. And then it was a bit too green or dark. Didn't like how it was looking, so I decided to go over it with that white wax, but then it didn't really work. It just kind of took the paint off, but in the end I liked how it looked. And this is how it turned out, and I think it turned out really cute. I was so happy when I found these moon signs in Dollar Tree. So I'm just cutting off the tag and then I'm taking the witch off. And you can take all the paper off if you want. You can sand off the glitter if you want to, but I don't have time for all that anymore. But you guys can make sure you do a better job than me. So I just turned it round and then stuck it down to this beautiful wallpaper from Dollar Tree. And then, I don't know why my X-Acto knives would not cut through it. So I tried to, and they weren't working. So I ended up having to cut it with some scissors. And then I used a nail file to just take off any of the wee bits that were left over. And I love how this moon has a face on it. I'm going to save that wee bit because that'd be a waste. Oh, and I got that cutting mat from Temu. It's so pretty. I did haul it in my Temu video. If you watched that, you would have seen it. So here I have a few different spiders from Dollar Tree, and I decided just to go with these big ones. So I'm using that paint, and I do paint them on both sides, and I think I only gave them one coat of paint actually. So now I'm just using some of the plaster paint and dry brushing it on just to pick out the detail. I decided I didn't like the edges of this, so this is some of the burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree. I'm just cutting it in half, and I've done this on loads of DIYs before. And then I'm just going to hot glue it around the edge of this, and it just makes it look better, makes it look more finished. Obviously I do the scallop edge facing up. Just watch you don't burn your fingers. I'm just burning off the wee hairs with a lighter. You don't have to do this. Or you could get one of those big long lighters, but I prefer to use this one. So I have a piece of string and I'm just checking where I want my spider to hang. I also put the hole in the top of here, and then I wish I hadn't. So if you want to hang it, then make the hole. If you want to hang it with a wee hanger, like a twine one at the top, which I'm going to put on. But if you don't want to, you could just put some twine on the back and hang it, and then you won't see the hanger. So I just put a wee bit of craft stick to keep those pieces in place, and then I'm just gluing the other spider on there. And now I'm making my twine hanger. I'm just looping it through and then tying it at the top, trimming off the excess. Also burnt the hairs on that. And this is how it turned out, and this is my other favourite DIY from this video. Even if you don't use the spiders on it, the moon looks so beautiful with this wallpaper on it. This wooden sign is also from Dollar Tree. Everything is from Dollar Tree except for the paint, the glue. Even that pencil's from Dollar Tree. So I'm just measuring it because I want to put this paper in the middle. And then I'm going to cut it with some scissors. And then I'm just going to stick it down. I have some more of this lace ribbon from Dollar Tree and a wee helper. And I just cut it to a strip for the top and a strip for the bottom, but I should have cut it so I could wrap it around, but I wasn't thinking because someone was trying to grab it. Her wee hand looks so cute. And then I just trimmed off the bits that were hanging off the end. And now I have some of these skeletons, and I'm just using my hot knife again, obviously away from her. But I didn't realise that it wasn't even switched on. I think it must have still been hot here, but then it wasn't even switched on for the other two. So I'm just doing the same as I did with the other skulls and cutting off the back so that they will lay flat. And then using the nail file, get any jaggy pieces away. I'm just going to do that with 2 more skulls. I'm just going to paint them with plaster chalk paint. Actually, then I realised when I started painting them that they have this line on the front of them on the forehead. So I am just sanding that off. And then I'm going to paint them with the plaster chalk paint. I think I only gave these ones 1 coat because I was trying to rush. Someone wanted to grab them. And then I also did the moss on them, you'll see in the next clip. Look at her creeping her hand in. So now I'm just putting the moss wash on, just the same as I did for the last skulls. And I'm not going to show it, but I did go over with the plaster paint again like I did before. So I'm just going to glue my skulls in place with a wee bit hot glue. And this is how it turned out. So I'm going to use a whole skeleton this time, and I think that one looks best. So I am going to paint it with the plaster chalk paint. I just gave it one coat, and I did paint it on both sides. I'm not going to show you me painting the other side. And I'm just using the moss on the face this time. And I have this beaded hoop from Dollar Tree. And I was going to just hang him the way he was with the hanger sticking out his head. And then I thought, oh, maybe I should just actually hang him. Like he's just been hanging in that hoop for, I don't know, till he turned into a skeleton. So I just tied it around his neck and then tied it to the top. Obviously I've got to burn off the wee hairs. And then at this point is when I should have added a hanger, but I wasn't thinking about that yet. So I picked some lamb's ear and some other floral. Lamb's ear was from Walmart, and the leaves were from Dollar Tree. Forgot what it was called there. So I'm just going to hot glue them on. And then I glued these, and then I decided to put something in the middle. So I'm gonna paint that spider next, and I just painted it that green colour that I had from my house, and then I dry brushed some of the plaster paint on it. And this was just a ring from Dollar Tree I cut off the back. And then I'm just going to hot glue that right in the middle once it's dry. And this is when I realised I should probably make a hanger. So I'm just using some of that lace ribbon, and I'm folding it over, and I'm just going to hot glue it to the back. This is really light, so that should hold it fine. And this is how it turned out. I got these wee ghosties last year, and I decided to use them this year, obviously. But I'm going to do 4 with this wallpaper, and the others I am going to paint. But I ended up only using 3 of the ghosts with this wallpaper on them. So I'm just cutting them out. I'll just show you me doing one of them. I just cut as much of the wallpaper off as I could, and then I used the nail file. And then I got my scissors, and I was going to use my X-Acto blades, and then fold the paper back, but then it wasn't working, so I just had to cut round the holes. And I decided to do 2 ghosts in this colour and 2 ghosts in the plaster colour. And this is me just deciding if that's what I was going to do. But that's what I did do in the end. And then I paint the other two ghosts. So I arranged the ghosts how I wanted them to be, and that's when I decided I didn't need that extra ghost. So I'm just using the twine that came with them. I put it through the ghost, and then I hot glued the end, and then I put 3 beads on each one. I'm going from a larger one to a smaller one, so I did that for them all off camera. And then I found the middle of this piece of twine, and then I thought I was going to tie the ghost hanging, but then I decided to tie it close to the beads. So I did 2 knots, and then I'm going to trim it off at the end once I've done all the other ghosts. And then I was trying to figure out how much space I wanted between each ghost. But you can still move them around. You'll see me do that in a minute, if the spacing is not right. So I'm just doing the other side now, and just doing the same thing. And then once I put the last one on, I hold it up to see how it's looking. And then when I'm happy with it, I was going to tie them again at the top and a different knot, but I decided against that. So I just trim them all off, and then I'm going to put a wee bit of hot glue on the top of each of them, just to hold the knot together. And I didn't show it, but I do tie a loop at either end of this so that I can hang it up, and then I just trimmed off the excess. And I think this turned out so cute. Anyway, let me know which of these DIYs is your favourite, and would you use this colour or a different colour? And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!